Hello, Bethlehem Baptist Church. This is Pastor Dean, and welcome to our 16th day of Advent, our 16th Advent devotion. Today is Monday, December the 18th. We're journeying together through the scriptures up to Christmas Eve on December the 24th. Today we continue in Matthew chapter 2, verses 7 and 8. Let's read this together. Then Herod, when he had secretly called the wise men, determined from them what time the star appeared. And he sent them to Bethlehem and said, "Go and search carefully for the young child. And when you have found him, bring back word to me, that I may come and worship him also." Today our focus is on Herod and what he told the wise men. Let's see first of all with Herod. He was the king, supposedly the king of the Jews at that time period, and he hears that there is another king of Jews on the scene, and he's troubled. He was a man out of control. Note the character of this man. See, Herod was an Edomite. He wasn't Jewish. He was born around 73 BC in Idumea, which is renamed from Edom in the Old Testament. He's a descendant of Esau, not Jacob, who didn't like his brother very well. Though he was Edomite, his family converted to Judaism, and Herod himself was raised Jewish. But those Edomite tendencies remained in his heart. He was appointed governor of Galilee in 47 BC at the age of 26 years old, and he would enjoy the backing of Rome, but condemned by the Jewish Sanhedrin. In 41 BC, Mark Antony came through the region, naming Herod the Tetrarch, or prince or co-ruler, along with his brother. Together, through shrewd political maneuvering, he was appointed king of the Jews by the Roman Senate. He later would become the sole ruler of Judea around 37 BC with the help of the Roman army and Mark Antony. During Herod's reign, Herod would build some beautiful buildings, such as refurbishing and reconstructing the temple, as well as other fortresses and other upgrades to surrounding cities. All these projects were aimed at gaining the support of the Jewish people and improving his reputation as a leader. Along with these building projects came heavy taxation in order to fund these projects. Turns out he would not be like either the Pharisees or the Sadducees because of the way he rebuilt the temple, or even many of the Jewish people because of the heavy taxing he imposed on them. But you find that Herod, through history, was a natural leader. He possessed great physical and mental strength. He had an indomitable will. He possessed great tact, knowing what to do in every crisis. However, he struggled with jealousy, suspicion, immorality, depression, and paranoia in his heart and toward his family. That's his character. Notice his conduct. So because of his bad character, his rise to power was through a succession of atrocious crimes. He would have his wife and her two sons executed through jealousy on account of their popularity. He even had every baby boy 2 years old and under executed to try to wipe out the true King of Kings. There we find in Matthew chapter 2. Herod's anger was evidence of his pride. He could not permit anyone to get the best of him, particularly some Gentile scholars, magi, who followed a star. Caesar Augustus even said he would rather be Herod's hog than his son, for he'd had a better chance of living. He was so concerned that nobody would mourn his death that he commanded a large group of distinguished men to come to Jericho to give an order they would be killed at the time of his death, so that the displays of grief that he craved would take place. He was a deceiver to the end. Salome, his daughter, was actually terrified of the wrath of the Jewish people, so she did not carry out his wish. Free the prisoners in the king's name before Herod's death was made public. This death was welcomed with relief instead of mourning. But notice the control of this man. He died shortly after he ordered all those babies killed. He died at 69 years old from a loathsome, feverish, excruciating illness called Herod's evil. Based upon the descriptions of the historian Josephus, medical experts have diagnosed his cause of death as a chronic kidney disease complicated by gangrene in the same area. I truly believe that God causes death because every person in history that has committed atrocities toward the Jewish people, from Herod to Hitler, thinking they were God, used by Satan, have never prevailed and have shortly after died. I see also God controlled the man and his ability to harm his anointed. So Herod, in his anger and his pride, thought he was in control. God ultimately was in control because he controls the uncontrolled. So I see this idea, and when Herod, the Magi came to Herod, and Herod's request, he says, "When you have found word," there in verse 8, "let me know, So note the character of Herod. The wise men come. Herod looks sincere and says, hey, when you found word where this baby is, please come back and let me know. The star did not precede the Magi on their long journey. This fact indicates they journeyed by faith in the revelation that had been given to them before they started the travel. That is why, having arrived in Jerusalem, they had to inquire where they might find the king. In their simplicity of heart, they addressed themselves in the first place to the official head of the nation, and where they expected, in the simplicity of heart. Go to Herod's palace, they would expect to hear authentic information. Another interpretation of Herod's being troubled could have been the fact that he was greatly disturbed and filled with alarm when he heard the report of the Magi there in verse 3. Only a little while before this instance, filled with rage with family rivalries and jealous of anybody who may supplant him on the throne of Palestine, he secured the murders of his own beautiful princess as well as his two favorite sons. Though he had sought to every means to secure the favor of the Roman Emperor Caesar Augustus about this time, had said, once again, he would rather be his hog than his son. The city of Jerusalem now feared the revenge of this cruel and cunning king, who in the beginning of his reign destroyed the Sanhedrin, and now in the last years of his brilliant reign might seize and execute the chief Jews. So that's a little bit about Herod. But here's the application of the matter. Today, on the 16th day of Advent, let us be reminded that though we have evil leaders and evil things, and we have evil in this world, God is still in control. He would warn the wise men not to return. He would warn Joseph to flee. Everything would work out in his plan and his timing and his will, and he would bring an ultimate good out of evil. And we find throughout the scripture, God is always bringing good out of evil, out of sin, out of chaos. Keep that thought in mind today. I hope and trust you have a great day. Thank you so much for tuning in. May God bless you.